Hi, Jason. Thanks for sitting down with me and talking about some stuff on mass incarceration and survivors of domestic and sexual assault. The first question, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. The first question I have for you is, do you think that overall the people who wind up incarcerated deserve to be there?
Overall, it just depends, I guess. I mean, I feel like overall, no, not everybody deserves to be there. But I do think, there's a case-by-case, system. And I just think that's a huge question to answer in a yes or no. But I think, yes.
Awesome. Okay, and the second question I have is, do you believe that our laws and judicial system are fair and take into consideration race, culture, and background?
No, I don't believe they're fair. I do think they take in race, culture, and background, but to be not fair. So I do think, if you have a better upbringing and can afford the most expensive lawyer, and the lawyer can swing the deals, you're gonna get a better deal. So to me, that's not fair. If you come from a low income or a bad part of town and you get a public defendant and you're just a number to them. So I think it's always been like that, and I don't think that's gonna change.
All right. And third question is, do you think that if we as a country or even the world looked at trauma as a public health problem and a possible reason why we have mass incarceration, that it would make a difference?
I think if we just started looking at it as a whole, that's a start. Just by opening up the conversation, one would hope that it would make a difference. But somebody's going to have to, start those conversations with, the judicial system, and for them to be able to take it seriously.
Awesome. All right. Do you believe that survivors of domestic and sexual violence deserve access to community survivor-centered resources while they are incarcerated?
Well, I would hope that they would already have access to those items. So yes, I believe that they deserve access to the same items and resources and libraries that everybody else who's incarcerated have access to. One would even say they might need additional resources for said traumatic experience, just to, expand on those specific instances.
Do you think currently, from what you know about the jail system or the prison system, if anything, that they're currently having access to these resources? Allowed to have access to these resources?
From what I know, like I said, I mean, if everybody has, I would hope that they had access to it just like everybody else. I can't tell you if they do or not.
Okay. And then what do you think of when you hear the term mass incarceration? And do you think that trauma-informed due process would be beneficial to the mass incarceration problem?
I think the first thing that comes to mind with the mass incarceration is obviously overpopulation. We're feeding the machine. Everybody's just a number to the incarceration system. And yes, I think by opening up conversations and different doors and avenues for traumatic processes and traumatic experiences, that those numbers can go down. If there's resources available, or if, they're not incarcerated, but they're still getting help outside of incarceration.
Awesome. Thank you for sitting with me. I appreciate it.
No problem.